fan noise on my mic.
No, it's
No fan noise.
You said you can hear a fan noise?
No, there isn't any.
Oh, no.
It's
Okay.
fine.
Thanks. Okay. So, hey. Okay. So we are starting a meeting for today. Let me see. I just want to update this for a second. So let me duplicate first. And we are on the 14th, right? Sorry, 14th. And let me remove the updates from last time. And I'll keep that updated later on. So from status, I think we'll soon be done with like the PR for metrics, and I think that's kind of concludes what we have for this phase of the functionality for caching, right? So, Danny. So I kind of think this is where we are, and the problem that I'm seeing, and maybe I can start showing that a little bit. Let me see if I have it already here. This one aside. I'm just moving some things around to be able to see everything. Okay. So I can show my entire screen for a second here. Yeah. Okay. So I have basically what I have here is I took. Can you see right the my visual code?
can you please increase the font?
Yeah. Thank you. I always forget. So thank you. Great. So I think this is enough. I can increase it one more. So I have two here, like the operator versus the core, and I also opened it here so I can see the Kubernetes tab here. So it's you can see the deployment. So I'm not. The problem here is that whenever I start to use it more than just maybe a few bytes or things like that, I immediately get errors. And I think like for one example here would be this. I hope it's going to be visible enough. Let me close this one. So I was trying to upload an object which I could like. Okay, so let me trace back for a second. Okay, so I have my system here. Let me show you this one. It has the same kind of namespace resource, which is my hub. In this case, a bucket on AWS. Okay, I'm just using it, piggybacking one bucket, and I created two namespace buckets on top of it just to compare. One of them is not a caching bucket, so it's a namespace bucket directly on top of it without caching, and the other is a namespace bucket with caching enabled. Okay, so I have two of these so that I can compare how these behave differently if I need to. So that's my setup. Maybe even increase this one a little bit. And oops. And what I'm getting is whenever let me go back to what I did. So I uploaded objects to the cache, sorry, the hub first, and it worked fine. It was just, maybe my internet was slow, so it doesn't need to be fast or anything like that for upload, but it was working okay, and I did get a chance to see. So I have an alias here for S3. So I have that my endpoint configured here, so I can do it S3ls and see these two buckets. Okay, and I can list them the same, right? So hub and cache are both listed the same. Okay, so listing is okay. If I try to copy something, so let me copy something like something I have locally here. Something like devenv, like a small object. If I copy through the hub, I do a dev and if I do that to a cache, I think both will work. I think it's small. Let's see. Okay, so it's not. So that one is also not liking it much. Let's see where it's at. So okay, so it seems like the endpoint here, something here. Okay, this is one is the error. Let me see. Yeah, error in cache upload. Semaphore timeout. So I'm getting this most of the time. Perhaps I somehow got it stuck, but I'm not really sure how. Let me see if there's any other error here. This one. So this is the timeout.
Guy, what is the operation? Read or put into the?
No, it was upload. Put.
Yeah, okay. So the Romy has encountered a couple of months ago, maybe a month ago, a situation. I guess it's the same with you. When you use namespace on the same system, that you are also the client.
I am the client of what?
And this is a if you defined a namespace resource and you use the target of that resource to be
So
another bucket.
I didn't. I used a resource from AWS in this case.
Okay.
And I'm running latest as in from yesterday, I think. So I'm not behind anything. Okay.
No, that problem is an inherent problem. We didn't fix it.
Yeah. Okay. I see. But in general, yeah. Okay. So I don't know what's the problem yet. That's what I've been seeing. I thought that I did get. I thought that I did see a difference between small objects, but I copied a big folder, so maybe I didn't notice an old files kind of failed. So that's the case. So let's.
Guy, have you tried not use Minikube, just deploy it locally? Do you see the same problem?
No, I didn't. I went directly to building in this test. It might be related. I mean, I totally agree. I mean, but that's my point. I mean, I want to see this working inside some the environment. So, by the way, I did find another kind of. I didn't find it, but I find it kind of weird that whenever we are in here, so when we see an object bucket, right, and we can have all the options to set the storage. For namespace, we don't have any option at this point. So not resources, sorry. So buckets, because it's a namespace bucket, the only thing it has, it's like the namespace policy to edit, and even that kind of now overwrites the cachings, the caching. So I'm not going to do that. So it's kind of broken from this point of view, so that from the UI, it's not very usable. I can't do anything on these buckets now, not edit, not nothing. But from APIs, I could invoke whatever is needed. So it's possible to to automate whatever we need for any test. So I'm not too worried, but I think we will need to close some of the UI gaps, at least to block some errors or things like that. That for sure. So, but I don't think that's we're not at a stage yet. So let me try and focus that. Yeah, Jackie. I will do this after. I'll change. So Jackie, I don't know if you see, but Jackie asked if I can stop using his bucket, I think. Yeah. So
yes, if you can.
Not
in the right channel, but yes.
Yeah, this is why I called it Guy, so you can even know. Anyway, I didn't mean to do that, but let me continue and then change later. So this semaphore timeout, let's find out how do we get there, maybe. We have a namespace cache upload timeout here. See it anywhere? No. And if I just look at it. Oh, I'm in the other one. Okay.
I figure like the in the upload case, right? In the cache, we use a semaphore. There is a count, right? And that number of bytes determined by the memory or CPU power or somehow. Maybe that one is a calculate.
Yeah, so I edited that 2 days ago. You can see this here. So what I did was this was a bit off in the sense that it wasn't off. It was, sorry, I think what happened here, basically it was correct. It was the same even calculation, I think. But I just defined it once because I think it was defined twice, like the same one. And it had like the logic of either I'm getting it from the environment, from Kubernetes, or I'm running on, I don't have any information. I'm assuming my host knows to give me the memory limit I should use. So so that's the logic that was there, I think, as well. And it's divided by, let me see here. So in this case, let's compare for a second, because I think that's the other case that used it, which was the IO semaphore where we use in object IO. When we upload, we have a semaphore to avoid pushing too many buffers from incoming network or wherever. Maybe I think we have it in both cases. Either like if one case is one side of the end of the connections is faster, either the reader or the writer, then we need to kind of limit how much we keep in memory for the other side. So this one is helping us to limit these buffers in object IO, and it's divided by 4 in this case. And here we divided by 8. So it might be that it's too low, right? Because what I'm probably, let me see if I can just print it over there. So I have IT. And oops, so
you can just describe the pod. It'll show you the environment variable value.
Yeah, I can also do that, of course. Yeah. So this one, did we use the limit one?
That's
This
quite
one
big.
is 8 gig, right?
Yeah, quite big.
But request is 0. Let me see what we did. So we used request. But if it's 0, we use this one. So this is kind of weird. And I think what happened, maybe it's my fault. Let me see. So I kind of messed up intentionally the resources that I allocated. And I can show you what I did. So I went to my noobaa-CR and I edited the resources to be kind of an empty object, you see? And I think that's what's causing it to give us these numbers somehow, instead of something more concrete. So the request is 0, which is weird. But that's what happened when I did, like, because I didn't want to set, be limited, really. So I think what this causes is not what I wanted. It caused the request to be 0 and the limit to be the the available memory of the node, which in my Minikube is 8 gig. Yeah, so I can either set it, or I think maybe it should work okay because or maybe not. Let's see what OS does. So OS dot, what was it? Memory. What is total memory? Yeah, so it's 8 gig as well. Same. So that seems like it's okay, right?
Mm-hmm.
You can even load the number itself and see the config and see it's loaded fine. And we have this. And what is the timeout? 30 seconds. Okay. So you have a 30-second timeout, and this timeout is for what? For how much data? Is it confined to something of a certain size, or oh, it's actually, I think the timeout is only for being queued anyway.
Yeah.
So it doesn't matter. I mean, it does matter, but doesn't really. Okay, so a few ways we can go about is to try and increase these numbers for a second here, right? Just make them big so we can see if this is the problem. Let me try this, right? So I'm inside the endpoint. I think I can, what I can do now is, so I can touch, maybe I did it already. There's a file that I can use to restart the process easily. So noobaa init. Oops, not this one. This one. So there's a file noobaa init mode. I can just write auto into it, and then it will restart. So that will be. Okay. Now I can restart the process, and it should, like, if I this PS. PS, what am I PSing here? So I might be able to kill 12 and get 98 being created, so it's good. So I can reload the code, and now I can go and edit config and just set this to whatever. And this one to Okay. Let's see the log, how this looks like. I need another. Oh, maybe I should do this differently. This is, oh yeah, this is it. Okay. Let's try uploading. So, Jackie? Okay, at least this one succeeded now. So it's definitely something about these numbers that doesn't add up. Maybe it is the number of like the memory number for some reason. So let's see. The floor of it, like, it should have been gigabyte, right? Unless I'm mixing. And number. So maybe number had anything to do with it. I don't know. I can check it. How do I check this? You can go, I just print it, right? Oh, oh. 0. Yeah, so maybe, what did I miss? Maybe I missed something. So this is 0, but 0, it's 0 string. So, yeah, it's not what I meant. Yeah, so the condition should have been like, maybe sure. Maybe let's do this.
You will still get 0, right?
Yeah, I know. I'm kind of messing with it a little bit. Does that make any sense? It's not. So
Why don't check specifically for the 0 in a string? Because this is the only option where you actually, it is a value and you don't want it.
So I think that my point of specifying it like this is that I'm saying, if this is a valuable number that I can use, I'd use it. But and if it's 0, it's not. That's all.
So just use OR. Just use OR instead of this implicit if.
Again? What did you say? Doesn't.
Just use OR, logical OR instead. Number, process, and container request,
okay,
or
that's what you said. Okay, I didn't hear. Okay, yeah, okay. Makes sense. So, okay, that's the problem. Thanks. So I got it. That's good. I can put it this way and see if this works. These windows are very small this way. Probably would also increase this one a little bit. I'm not sure if 30 seconds is, I mean, I would probably, so let's think about it. What are we trying to do? We're trying to, by this timeout, we're trying to avoid trying to upload something which is sort of too much time in memory, waiting for the queue. So this is, yeah, I see. So actually, we don't want this too large, right? We're saying that either that this gets processed kind of quickly, or we want to skip it. We don't want to spend too much time queuing here, more items other than the ones that we are actively uploading. Maybe even time is not the right one here. So maybe we should have had in the semaphore maybe kind of a limit, waiting list kind of limit, right? That would be probably more accurate to what we are trying to achieve here rather than timeout. Timeout is also good, but I think from the aspect of the memory kind of limit that we're setting. Okay, let me just note that. Let me see. So one thing is that we fixed config container mem, and second we want add a semaphore queue limit. Okay. So that's okay. I'll leave it this way for now, just the way it was, and this will be 8, like it will be 1 gig, and it should work as well. And kill node. Okay. Clear up here. It's starting up. Oops. Okay. And I think we will be able to upload something. Good. So that's better. And let's also try something a little bit bigger. So we have like build releases, I think, here. I can take some of my builds. Let me. Jackie, which one do you like? I think this one was good. So this is uploading to the cache. Okay, so good. Let's just see that it, yeah, so it looks much more stable than before. So that was definitely the issue. Good. Okay, so that releases this, and I'll keep on running some more cases here and try to see how this looks like when I read uncached versus read cached, things like that. And I'll maybe next time I will be able to actually run a demo or have a recording or anything like that of, or maybe we can record next time and have like specifically the demo part recorded for sharing. Okay, that's good. Anybody else had any issues with the caching or wants to add anything to that status? Okay. Let me just look at it. Hey. 1 second. Okay, sorry. So I just want to make sure if we want to tackle any of the other things here soon anymore. Do you think any of these are relevant for like in the next 2 weeks or so, or you think only later on?
No, I don't think we can pick
From
anything
capacity perspective.
From a capacity perspective, we can't pick anything up in the coming 2-3 weeks.
Yeah, of course. Okay, so I think we'll just return to these topics later, and with the metrics, I think we can follow up with Matthew. I don't know if he's on. I think not, right? Yeah. So let's go back to the agenda, see if we have anything to add. Is there anything you guys want to add to the next meeting so that we'll have on the agenda? Any updates or any PRs from upstream that you guys want us to cover? Maybe now, maybe next meeting, or don't mind. It doesn't have to be now. Like the one thing I thought might be.
I just would like to mention. I just want to mention what you wrote on Slack. Oh, I have a delay. It's a very big delay. I just want to mention what you have wrote on Slack because almost everybody is here, and we'll let Matthew know also that you need to do git restore on source lib before the next commit. So would you like to share what you wrote, Guy, just that we have the full path or something?
Right, so I just did it with Jackie before because he saw all these untracked files which are on front-end src lib, right? That was the path.
Well, yeah. Front-end src lib, yeah.
Yeah. So how can I share it? I can show you what I wrote, but it's just that. You just need to restore that because otherwise you'll see all that, a lot of untracked files that were removed from Git, and they need to be. Most of them needs to be removed. So it's not just about removing. I think with Jackie we did a remove and then restore, but I hope restore alone can solve it.
It's a little bit. Yeah, it's a little bit more complicated because everything will work, and if you push a commit, it will push everything with it. And this is the main
I don't
problem.
think anybody will
see PRs or commit push everything.
Yeah, but I don't think anybody will push a PR like this with all these files. We will notice it, but I just don't want it to be like it's surprising to see all these. That's all. It seems like the branch is not.
Sorry for that.
No, it's okay. So it's good that we know what to do, but let me see if we have anything. If you guys have any of the PRs you want to follow up now, we can do that. Otherwise, the one suggestion I have is to maybe try and push. I don't know if Liran is on the call. I didn't see.
Yes, I'm here.
Do you have anything you kind of want to push with the promises refactor? Do you want any kind of help with that or get it, pushed out?
So the defer is not working. We work. I just think about. So we want to remove all the bluebirds. We started by getting rid of tap, return. What was the split? It was delay and everything. So we also changed the cancel is pending and is rejected is related to defer, but the defer currently is not working. And also there is a timeout that we didn't touch. What we want to do, Guy suggested that instead of replacing all the peer resolve with promise resolve, we will keep peer resolve and just hijack it. So peer resolve will translate into promise resolve, and we will change everything needed instead of peer resolve when we need bluebird, so it will be explicitly bluebird resolve. I think we can cut this PR and just push it in. This PR is actually removing all all what I said before. Okay.
Mhm.
So I think we can push it in, but we will need to handle the timeout and the defer and everything on later PR. Just because this one is already done and we can add to it, but we can also push it so it will run.
Can I remark something about the change from using Bluebird to not using Bluebird?
Mhm.
I would like to mention that I saw some code that didn't get into the PR. I hope it won't. And basically, we need to be careful not to by doing the change, try to implement the same interface Bluebird has by ourselves. Because if we do that, we can basically just use Bluebird. So when we are going to tackle the more complex things like props and stuff like that, I think it should be handled on the call site and not as a library, because we can write the call sites in a different way that will not have us use this complex util function, let's call them, that Bluebird has implemented. Because if we continue in the same road, what we'll get our own Bluebird, which I think wasn't like
No,
the intention.
I don't think so. I'll tell you why. The point is this: Bluebird is implementing a class, like a new type of class. We're not doing it at all. So we are not trying. The problem I think we have with the model of Bluebird is not that it adds functionality. We didn't say that we don't want functionality. The only problem was that it doesn't combine well with the native promise, right? And what I mean doesn't combine. We constantly need to cast it between, like resolve it between these two types. Otherwise, you have certain functionality only on Bluebird versus different functionality on the promise, and it's a mess, right? So I think the intention is this. The intention that we had with this PR and that I mainly ran was we were talking about this in the last couple of weeks and trying to get some stages from this to work. I'm not sure if we have good stages yet, but we are trying. Eventually, we just need to get rid of everything. I think that's the important stage. I don't think we want to be partially staged too much. But I think we don't have any reason to keep Bluebird as a class. We just need some helpers, right? If something is repeating too many times and we don't make errors with how we handle these promises, no, this is why we need functionality like that in our.
So I have a suggestion in this case. If this is the case, I think it's a good suggestion. The problem is that Bluebird, if every op on Bluebird return a Bluebird promise, and then you need the casts. Now, because you want to always return in our implementation, you want to always return native promise, and you don't want to change the promise prototype. You don't want to add functionality to the native promise because you don't want to touch native objects of Node. It will mess up some of the
No, I don't
optimization.
want. I don't want. I think it's pretty clear. We don't want.
So instead of change, we will get some kind of call that return a promise, then we put another function call of it. So we can just implement everything Bluebird have right now with a wrapper on top of Bluebird and just use the wrapper at the call sites and then start to move it.
But then we get the same thing, right? We get the problem of what are we returning, the wrapper or the actual promise?
No. I mean, Guy, you are missing the point. You can do the wrapper and return currently a cast to a native promise, and it will just be a wrapper to replace next BPR after that.
I think this is what we're doing. So I think we are doing something like that. Maybe not exactly like you're saying, but because we do imagine this is a kind of a work in progress, first of all, and the second case is we're not sure. So I'll tell you what the second thing I wanted to show you is that there is kind of a duality of where to put this functionality now, which is either in util/promise utils or util/promise, I think. Where is it? It's not here.
No, we didn't touch promise. This is in the refer. I can push it if you want. So because this is in the
Oh.
defer code, so I pull it out because I wanted to cut it, but I can make it back. But
No, it's okay. It's okay. One second.
Yeah.
I mean, do it regardless of the discussion. But the point was this: we have two of these kind of locations where we have functionality, and it's today already. It's not because of this PR. And I think we kind of want to merge it, but we also don't want to make too many changes at once, because this is a kind of a delicate refactoring. So what we were set to do at this point was to update these two in a way that minimizes the amount of changes we need to do on the rest of the system code, right? Not these utils. And it's like we wanted the refactoring to be simple for the other code, right? And then allow us to like continue from there and make more like simple to describe refactors, right? So like a rename or anything like that. So the way that we've done, like thought about it, was that and I'm not sure at which state you kind of stopped there, Liran, you can update later, was that we said, okay, so most of the things we're updating, leave aside some of these changes, but okay, this is actually something weird. This is the timeout kind of thingy. So this is a temporary kind of solution, and here we said we'll kind of use Bluebird specifically instead of. Oops, did I press it? Okay, I pressed something unintentional. Sorry. We said we kind of use Bluebird specifically here because this is very, very specific. Like timeout is a function that only Bluebird will ever give you on a promise, right? So we better just say here, cast it to Bluebird, like wrap it in a Bluebird promise, and then run this function. It's okay. It will work. And then we just await it, and we still get the same functionality working.
Why not the timeout function that you? Why not a timeout as a function that is in the promise too, inverse of control?
That's what we want to do, but since Liran wanted to have some stages and timeout was not in the first stage, we decided that for any case in which he doesn't want to mess with a stage, he can always use Bluebird directly to cast it, and then he can do that. But yeah, the next stage would be to wrap it in a timeout. So that's one thing you're seeing here. I think this is another. I'm not sure if it's correct actually, because I think Bluebird should have been around this one only and not around everything. Everything here, right? Do you see it on? So
Yes.
timeout is being called directly on this RPC call. So you need to wrap this one in a.
Yeah.
Yeah. Bluebird. Second, so I'll make this one. Okay, so that's what I want to say. Sorry? What?
I got disconnected. I didn't hear anything, but I will not make you repeat everything.
Okay. So just an example here for what we wanted to fix. Other cases are refactors like this one, right? This is a function that used to be implemented by a Bluebird promise, and now we just implement it like this. So these are most of the changes. And Liran, I would encourage you to avoid mixing up another thing here, like all of these typo changes. I would encourage you to revert these and keep it clean to just what you're trying to do now, because otherwise I'm afraid it's gonna hurt how much we are going to be able to review the code with, like, go over and see that it makes sense, because you have too many changes that are irrelevant to what we're trying to do.
Sure.
So if you can do that, I mean, if it's beautify and I can just ignore it, maybe with a hide white space, that's easy. But all these minutes to minutes, it's great.
I can do different PR and push it now. It's easy.
But so if we keep it like this, I think new P one second. So new P2, new promise, things like that. These are the main things that were changed in this code, right? Join meant changed to promise all, like very simple kind of. Yeah.
I have a suggestion going forward. I will explain it using the return function that you just changed. I know it's for return function, it will seem a little bit redundant, but it might be helpful for all other use cases. Can you go to one of the return cases?
1 second.
Yeah, no problem. Okay, so now you have, in the original code, we had return with a return as a method of the Bluebird function. Instead of doing it the way that you refactor it, just don't think about return. Think about prop, think about any other function in the chain that Bluebird had. We can have it in promise util. So think, instead of doing then and a arrow function to reply, you will do then and write promise util return reply. Again, it's inversion of control. Instead of, it's like giving utils that implement the same stuff.
But we don't want. I mean, we don't need to. The
Not
point
for
is
return.
this.
Not for return. I agree.
But there's no other cases. So when there is a case where we can just pass a function, of course we do that, right? To generate the function, it works. But timeout doesn't work this way, for example. Okay. So
yeah, timeout will not work. I agree. No, timeout will not work that way. I agree. Timeout is a little bit different. Also,
so it doesn't really matter. The point is this: we don't. It's not that we encourage writing like this now. It's that we encourage writing with await, of course, async await. But we want a first refactor to get rid of Bluebird and not, wait for or kind of depend on the refactor to async await, which is much bigger.
No, I'm not speaking about async await. I'm trying to accomplish what you want to accomplish as fast as possible with a little bit at least changes to any call size.
This is the least changes. This is a simple pragmatic change.
For return, I agree. I just said return is a special case because it's so simple. But when you go next to props or you go next to something else.
But these are easy, actually, because these need some utility function and you implement it and you do it. Right?
I'm just saying instead of doing nested calls, you can do it very easily with a util factory. Never mind.
Let's get to the call site. Let's go.
Yeah, we can discuss it on the next PR. It's fine.
Maybe the best thing is if you can actually, once, but Liran, you need to get the PR like ready for anybody to review, because I did like a few cycles. So if you can get to some point where it's valuable to, browse through, see that everything looks kind of simple and understandable to anybody else, that will be a good stage, and then we can kind of, look at the tests and merge. I think this is a delicate thing, and we just want somebody to be able to watch. And if I watch this, I can validate it pretty easily, right? I can understand what's being replaced, and it's easy to understand, and I can mark it done, right?
I take all the changes that not related into different PR, and I will so and then I will ping you all to see. I'm not going to add back the defer because it's messy one.
No. So leave defer for now. For example, you can leave it as.
We can't hijack the Bluebird yet because the timeout and because of the catch. Oh. Some of the catches are not.
Catch is okay. We've talked about it.
Yeah, but you told me that some catches are not acting as native.
But what we're saying, Liran, is that what we said for all these cases, whenever we see a case which we didn't support and we've looked for these catches, there's 3 exactly.
Yeah. Okay.
Right? We just make sure that there's a Bluebird there. That's it. Okay. Like we did for timeout. That's exactly what we did as a temporary stage, right? That we have Bluebird in the stack, in the specific chain. There we have Bluebird, and that's it. We kind of we are not relying on it anywhere else.
Okay.
Right? So I think that if you can make that, it will be great, and then we'll kind of get much more vanilla with the use of promises, and then I think it's going to be like a process of unifying promise utils and this P, which I actually think it's a good idea to keep. Maybe it will be good to hear if you guys agree or not, but I think P would be much easier for us as a control flow kind of utility function for promises if we want more utilities. I'm not specifically from callback. Maybe these are like archaic and we don't need them anymore, and we can get rid of some of them as well. But there's a bunch which we still kind of want to use, and the Node.js libraries do not just have them. So even
But
delay,
you are not going to keep both of them. It will be P and promise util combined.
So on. So yes,
yeah,
exactly.
okay.
That's the point. And I actually want to get rid of all the new P. We are getting rid of it. I don't. P is not going to be a class in any way. It's just a module, right? It's not going to be any class anymore. So it's just going to be a utility function that we can, a utility module that we can invoke easily in the code, so that we don't inflate it and make it too hard to read. Promise utils dot while. So yeah, it's okay, but it's not.
Guy, most of what Bluebird have, we already have an implementation as a util for it in the front end, because I didn't use Bluebird in the front end. So timeout, delay, we have all of them implemented already on top of native promises in the front end, in the promise utils library. So you can take it from there and merge for them what is missing, even timeout.
Sure.
So we have it already.
That will be great. We will talk about it tomorrow. I will think.
Take a look at what you need first. Like, we need timeout, we need defer. These are the two things we don't need.
I think defer.
I have both of them.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Nice. So we'll do that.
Okay. So that was good. It's good that we managed to do this. I think it's it's an important change. I think it's like we've dragged it like this cleanup for too long, and we kind of need to get rid of it and not have Bluebird anymore in the dependencies. It's messing up too much. So let's get this one merged, so we can build on that, rebase on that, everyone. So it's good. Okay, I think we were out of time as well, so we can. I'll just note that for the Bluebird cleanup, and I'm going to summarize it a little bit, and that's it. And we'll meet. So I canceled the Mondays meetings, right? So you've seen, and we'll have like once a week, and I hope next week we'll get to seeing some demo, and maybe we'll have more topics added to the agenda, or we can cover some of the PRs, open PRs, if anybody wants to share or get reviews. That's it from me.
Right, bye. Yeah.
Okay, guys.
Thank you. Goodbye.
Bye-bye.
גיא, יש לך דקה?
כן, שנייה. רגע.
I actually wanted you to stay on the call.